So we have still many questions again, but again, we have one more segment that is 3 things. Where I'll be asking you one question and you have to give 3 different answers. For example, what's your nickname? So you have to give me 3 different nicknames. Yes. So it's all about dance. Yes. Okay. So the first question is 3 favorite dance styles.
Okay. First one will be ballet, flamenco, and traditional Chinese.
Okay.
Yeah.
3 things that you need for our dance rehearsals.
Water, appropriate clothing, and energy.
Okay.
Yeah.
3 things that you want to say to an aspiring dancers who want to become a dancers.
Don't get discouraged. Always, how do you say that? Judge yourself in a proper way so that you can improve, and never be afraid to try things.
Oh, okay. Last but not the least, the 3 things that you love about each dance form. I'll be telling you the dance form. Yeah. Ballet.
Discipline, elegance, musicality.
Okay. Contemporary.
Freedom, openness, and depth.
Jazz.
Fun.
Okay.
Expressing, and music.
Flamenco.
Power.
Okay.
Props, and costumes.
And last but not the least, traditional Chinese.
Outfits also. Music with a voice, so that's singing voice, and water feeling.
Okay, so we'll get back to our question and answers. So we know that whenever we are performing in a big stage with the crowds, with a huge number of audience, we tend to get that nervousness in ourselves. How do you overcome that nervousness?
So I think the nervousness is good. Like, if you don't get nervous, that means you don't care about what you're doing. So everybody should have that sense of nervousness. And I think it's all about how much work you put in the rehearsal that then can let you enjoy and flow in the performance. If you're well prepared and you know your choreography by heart, yes, you'll get nervous, but then there's breathing technique and exercise that you can do so that you can take over the stage, So I would say having a good technique on how to relax your body and how to be well prepared in rehearsal.
How important is a rehearsal for a dancer?
Very. Very in a sense of, you could perform and just improvise, but then if you want a high quality show, the more you're going to rehearse, the more you're going to find some quality that you can bring of the movement with the music, that it's going to be uplifting your dance, and making you express, shine, finding more depths. Like, if I teach you a choreography right now, you're going to be more concentrating about what are the steps.
Yeah.
Like making the steps perfect, but then you won't be able to find you in the steps. Yeah. And the more you're going to practice, the more you're going to find your personality in the steps. And that is something that the audience wants to see. Nobody cares if you can do the step properly.
Yeah.
And you have the right technique or the right posture or the right arms or something. They want to see you shine in it, and I think that comes with the rehearsal. And also in rehearsal, you can push yourself more. Let's say you have a step that is technically difficult. You should be able to do it 10 times better in rehearsal, because being nervous on stage, you won't be able to be as relaxed as what you do in rehearsal. And that's why the rehearsal is important, because if you can do it 50 times in rehearsal, then that means on stage, you can at least bring 80% of that.
Yes.
If you don't rehearse, when you go on the stage, it would be terrible.
Yeah.
And that's something, we just had some audition for the new Broadway. And it was very interesting because some of the dancers that audition, I've already seen them perform. So when they had good rehearsal and led by good directors also, they did well on stage. I know they can do even more because I saw rehearsal footage that was much better.
Okay.
But now in the audition, they were not prepared enough, and due to that, I was very confused, I was like, where are you?
Yeah.
Like, why are you only bringing this much? And I understand. Never seen an audition, you want to prepare, but you're not as prepared as you would want to. And then if you ask them to do something slightly different, they kind of like lose themselves and they are not able to say, okay, she actually told me exactly what she wants to see. Let me try to bring it, even if it's just for a few seconds, so that they can see that.
Yeah.
But then it makes them even more nervous.
Yeah. So you have also been a judge in a reality TV show for the dance. What do a judge expect the one who gives an audition, to show them?
So the difficulty, I say, for the artists is they have one chance.
Yeah.
In a sense, I was kind of lucky that I didn't know many of the participants. So for me, it was really as if I was seeing them for the first time, which I think also helps to be able to judge in a more fair way. You're going to be fair because you see them once, you don't know what they are capable of doing. Only what you see is what you get, But then the problem in Nepal is sometimes people know other judge. It's like, oh, he's a student of my student. Yeah, they got this and that. And then I feel this little bit of biasness, but it's,
you have danced in different places, but also in context of Nepal, because you have been staying in Nepal for like almost 12 years now. How do you think the people around you have, reacted when it comes to a performance or dancing?
So I would say, I felt very good. Like the feedback that I got, the way that people accepted also what I did.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was trying to be also very careful about maybe the outfits, or what I'm wearing, because ballet, it's just the tights.
Yeah.
And then when you have the tutu, everything like this, you're showing a lot of your leg.
Yes.
It's all about extension. So in a sense of still being able to be respectful towards Nepalese, you don't want to be showing too much about, in between the legs. So I was also very trying to be careful, trying to be very conscious about that, so that I'm not destroying the arts that I'm doing, but at the same time, I'm not making them feel uncomfortable, or, for them to understand what is the meaning of ballet, and not just like, oh, I'm going to do whatever I do all the time, to be able to respect, because I feel for arts to be understood, there needs to be a give and take.
Yeah.
So when you understand who is your audience, then it's easier to be also able to give them a performance that they will be able to enjoy.
Yeah.
There
are moments, of course, you are a social figure now because everyone see you. There are people who judge you. Yeah. Not just positive way, but also in a negative way. Have you ever faced those negative comments and everything? And how did you overcome those things?
So I would say I'm used to it, because in the sense of the ballet, like I told you, we never got complimented, especially in the comments. Sometimes a lot of people it's not really about criticizing, but it's more helping people to be better. And people don't understand that it's actually for their own good.
Yeah.
So I've had comments where people were like, oh, why are you saying this? But Alice, we are trying. So, they were not really understanding why I was saying, there was this beautiful dancer, I'm not going to mention the name, but she got pushed in doing pointers too soon without enough ballet background. And I said, why did you do this? And then the response was, oh, because we wanted to have pointers on the television for the first time. But then for me, because of my experience, I was like, it's stupid to maybe make that dancer in a difficult situation, and in a way of, if she has an injury, it's going to be something that is going to stay with her all her life. And I know that.
Yeah.
Because I had injuries on my knees. So it was sometime having to fight a little bit with people that was, no, but we want to do the first time in Nepal.
Yeah.
I understand. But then you have to understand the consequence that that can also bring. A lot of dancers here, they sometimes push themselves too much. So they're going to try to do flips and big things and impressive movement that the base of the technique is not there. You know, they might not be able to point their feet properly, make the beautiful line.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the pointy feet and the beautiful line, the end quality is not going to be the same. Okay, you do a difficult flip, but then the quality is not there. Like, people are going to be like, oh, wow. And I think that also came with TikTok.
All right.
You know, TikTok, all the short videos of 10 seconds, it's more about blowing the mind of people, but not really understanding the quality of the art.
Yeah.
You know, like more, I want to show off, then is it safe to do?
Yes.
You know, so I've came across a lot of guys also that wanted to do difficult lift and then they hurt their back, or, you know, a nerve got stuck or something, and then now they cannot do it anymore. They can force it, and it was just because the process in which they learn how to do those things wasn't correct. Not enough warming up.
Yeah.
Not enough understanding of the body. Like when I was in Paris Opera and in every other school later, all the boys, they had to do 2 hours, 3 times a week at the gym. To build up muscle. Because it's not just when you leave the girl. No. You're risking everything, you know. There was this one girl where they did a lift. The finger of the guy went inside her rib cage. She broke her rib cage. For 5 months, she couldn't dance. She couldn't even breathe for 2 months, you know. So it has effect on the body. And I think those were the time where people judged me a lot.
Yeah.
And they were not able to understand that it was in a caring way. You know, I was trying to be as careful as possible in my words, but then people took it very badly and didn't understand that, oh, you know, why is she not like telling like appreciating or telling us like, oh, great, you know, you guys did that. No, like, because of my experience, I know that can be damaging.
Yeah.
I know that can be hurtful for you. And if you want your body to last, you should be careful. You know, you should also understand that warming up. When do you do the stretches? Like, you shouldn't stretch at the beginning of the class. You should always stretch at the end, once you finish the class, because your muscles are hot.
Yeah.
And at that time, you're not going to hurt yourself. You know, how long should you stay in the stretch? Like, so many things like this that it's lacking sometimes. So it hurt me sometimes, you know, when people were not understanding why I was sharing those advice. But then I realized that now, with the years, a lot of people have come to me and say, actually, ma'am, we appreciate. You know, we should have listened to you.
Yeah.
We should have strengthened our ankles, our hips, our back muscle, because we understand that it's actually necessary, and we are sorry that we judge you in that way. So it's good that at least some people, not everyone, appreciates that and sees that it was from a caring point of view. You know, it wasn't because I was judging them. And I think sometimes the language barrier can make people feel like that also, you know. English is not their first language.
Yes.
English is not my first language. So in that sense where people maybe misinterpret or, take it the wrong way, when it's actually, I'm not judging you.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to help you.
Yeah. You just mentioned about social media too, like TikToks or the reels that's growing nowadays. Social media has its good impact, of course, but it also has somewhere the bad impact, which is affecting the real arts. Because nowadays everyone is dancing, everyone is singing, everyone is doing everything due to help of technologies, etc. Do you think it is somehow impacting on the real art?
I think it's impacting more on the mental health, in a sense where people feel that they are celebrities and they are loved by people, and then that also give them a little bit of a egotistic personality, a bit more than what they would have in the real life. So they feel like, yes, but I can learn a choreography very fast, and then I can do it for TikTok. Wonderful. But then if you have to practice, work hard, sweat, get pain, go on stage, you cannot perform the same way. TikTok is fast. It's easy. It's few seconds. Can you handle a 2-hour show? That's going to be very different. And then, so people feel that they have a lot more skills than what is actually in reality. And most of my friends who are in the art field, they are not very popular on TikTok. They are not that popular in the social media because it's such a fake. Yes, it's a fake way of being popular that it doesn't give you as much pleasure. I don't want to spend hours doing TikTok videos. Yes, to maybe have followers and this and that, but I know that I will compromise on the quality of work because it's more about showing off, or doing something maybe fun and trendy. Like, I like the fact that social media can bring highlight onto some people. Like, I do have some Nepali friends that are doing really well on TikTok. And it's okay because it goes with the style of dance that they're doing, like more hip hop. So it's, using like Newabi song, and this and that, which I think that is wonderful because it gives them a platform. But at the same time, it doesn't help them to pay the rent. And they do spend a lot of time on that. Oh, which is the next video that I'm going to put and this and that, instead of how can I earn my life and what can I do to uplift myself in this art form so that I can have a career. Which TikTok can also go. It might work for some time, but not for that long. Or some people, they're very good creator of content and they can really sustain. But then I think you really need to have something always being up, checking. And it's a lot of time. That not everybody can do. Truth. You brought me to the career. So how do you see the dance field as a monetary, like financial wise? Is it sustainable or is it a good career? So in Nepal, it's still difficult. You have to push yourself a lot. You cannot expect that things will just come to you. And I think it's also slowly changing the mind of the Nepalese. Because especially when I started, a lot of Nepalese were saying, dance or acting, it's a second thing. It's not human activities. Sometimes it's difficult with parents also because parents feel like, oh, we want our kids to develop. We want things that are strict, but at the same time, they're not ready to commit themselves. So they expect a lot from the teacher that they are not willing to do for the kids. So that sometimes it's difficult, because they say, but it's okay if you're in last. And it's like, why do you think it's okay that I'm in last? If I'm providing a service that other people cannot provide, then, and if you want me to uplift the level of the class, we need to have an agreement. Where you want to go on holiday for a week, so you're not going to come to class. Now, should I be the one suffering for that? And that is really the difficulty still here. One of the reasons why I also create shows and create spaces is to be able to create opportunity also for artists, because compared to musicians or singers, the market is really elevating and they're doing well. People are ready to go for concerts. So it's a little easier to monetize money in that. With the dancers, there aren't enough dance company in Kathmandu to be able to do that. So that's what I'm trying to do with my company, is really finding a platform so that people can have that sense of working hard to then be able to perform. But then at the same time, all my artists, they have to teach on the side. Otherwise, it wouldn't be enough. And then luckily, we also work with brand from time to time to be able to have events also with brand. With that helps also a little bit for them to be showcased and at the same time to get extra income. But then if we don't have more people that creates opportunity for the dancers in Nepal, it's more difficult.
Yeah, I think the way you just mentioned about the concerts being held and people are going there so hyped up. But when it comes to a dance, I think there's no that hype. Like, no, we love watching dances, but when it's in the TV or when it's in general, but we don't really go and pay for watching the dance shows. Like, that's very true. Yeah. And do you think, like you have been dancing for a long time. In Nepal itself, it's been almost 12 years, which means you're already given decades to it. Do you think the way of seeing dance has been changed throughout the years?
So I think it has. I think people appreciate dances more. But it's still a community where people are scared to invest. And I think that's where the difficulty is. I have a few friends that are also organizing other dance competitions, which is great because it helps the people to be seen, to have a platform, but then it's only one competition.
Yeah.
Then later there's nothing, so nothing is enough in a way of sustaining for the dancers. A lot of dancers are going abroad, especially India. Yeah, because it's easier also in a sense. Yeah, visas and everything, and they can get more opportunities in India. India, it's really open in that sense where you have a lot more work, a lot more shows. A lot of people hire dancers for weddings, and that's where really the money is. But then the problem here is when dancers get a little bit famous, they don't want to be dancing for weddings. Like, they had that sense, so I have more values. Yeah, and it's like, I understand, but then we are in a third world country, and sometimes if you bring it in a way very professional, why not? You shouldn't feel that you're degrading yourself. But then sometimes what they feel with weddings or events sometimes is that, all the people are drunk anyway. So even if we give a lot of effort, people are not going to look and they're not going to appreciate it.
Yeah.
And that's my main thing of, I don't want just for us to have a weird stage.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some people are watching us. I want to really make them feel like, wow, they are in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're watching a movie. Yeah. So that it gives a little bit of a more uplifting way of performance.
Yeah.
So that they can really appreciate it. And not just look at it of like, oh, good looking girls. Yes. Guys.
But I am really, looking forward to your musical show. Yeah. I think it will somewhat I won't say like it will directly change in a one go. Of course, it will take time, but I hope it will also make some impact on the audience in viewing how the dances can uplift their culture.
Exactly.
Which brings me to the next question is, how can dance showcase the culture, one's culture, where it belongs to? How Elita?
So what I would say is finding the same thing, which is with the Nepali dance, or cultural also dance from each tribe.
Yeah.
So how can you bring that in a way that with the lights, with the storyline, with the characters, that feels dance is necessary? And I think dance is something that everybody can really relate to.
Yeah.
In some ways.
Yeah.
We see that, like, even if we ask anyone, I'm sure every single person in Kathmandu has at least danced once in their life, even if it's just drunk.
Yeah.
Because it's a way of releasing things and expressing yourself that anybody can do.
Yeah.
So if we highlight each dancer's individual also, and not just be like, oh, the star of the show is this person, and then the background dancers, are just there to uplift that person, then to be able to give a platform for each individual, to make them feel that they are also valuable, and it's not because they might not have the lead in this play or in this Broadway that they are nothing. So they themselves have to change that mentality also, for the audience to then be able to appreciate them, to be able to have that separate where, yes, I was performing, yes, I danced, but it doesn't mean that because I dance in a certain way that maybe you feel seduced with my dancing, that I'm someone seductive, and I'm going to be flirting with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is my job. That is my profession.
Yes.
Now I'm here as a person. Maybe I want to enjoy a conversation with you. Maybe I don't.
Yeah.
Yes. And not feel like, because they are moving their body and showing off, in a sense, like some people will see, we are easy. You wouldn't think that about other people.
Yeah.
So I think changing that mentality is very important, for people to appreciate the skill of the dancer instead of just being the outlook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any age limit for a dancer?
So after a certain age, technically it's difficult to keep up with the young generation, in a sense where, your body is not going to be as flexible, not as powerful. And there are certain dance, especially like contemporary, that you can do for a much longer period of time. Because you don't have to do all those big tricks, but you can bring quality things.
Yeah.
Also. So normally around the age of 30 is kind of the retirement age for dancers, in a sense of very high profession. Like back in the days, we used to do 250 to 260 shows per year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Almost a whole year.
Exactly.
Wow, that's huge.
Exactly. So, that amount of performance, your body cannot take for too long. So that's why. Yeah.
So this is going to be the very ended part. I want to know, like, what are different career options for a dancer?
Okay. So as a dancer, you normally look for a company or like a group or a team where you can have opportunity to perform and train. So you get training still every day and you get to also perform. In Nepal, we have less of that, and that's why most of the time in Nepal, artists, they are more individuals. I've tried a few times to create a group and a team, but then the problem was because of the mindset at one point of, now I got everything that I can from her, I can do it by myself. Yeah, because of that has also affected, like in a sense of building team and making people understand that one dance form, it's not going to sustain you as a dancer.
Yeah.
Like you have to be able to know a lot of different dance forms if you want to make it your job, because let's say, I'll take Bharatanatyam.
Okay, Bharatanatyam.
There are a lot of very good Bharatanatyam school here. Even the Indian embassy also provides very good classes, but then the performance is very limited. There's like 4 or 5 festivals where they perform per year, and they don't really do their own shows. Even so, they have the dancers and they have the potential, because it costs money, it's a lot of things to manage. So many things like this, If there was a company that was able to provide Bharatanatyam show 2 weekends, every 2 or 3 months, and people would know about it and it will be part of the culture, I think it could be successful. But then it's difficult as an artist, because I've had to do that myself, where you're directing, you're performing, you're looking for sponsors, and you're managing everything.
All
in one, because other people will see, there's not that much money.
Yeah.
And that would be the thing that stopped them for wanting to push. But then if we're a team and you're in marketing, you go in just managing the places and getting the sponsors, we are the artists and providing the quality of the show. If we work as a team, there can be a potential, and it's just about, it's the same everywhere. Maybe we struggle a little bit at the beginning and we are not earning that much, but then in the later run, if the quality is there and people recognize the quality and they say, when that company does a show, it is always very good quality, people are going to want to come back again.
Yeah.
So I think those are the things that slowly need to be implemented in Nepal too, so that people can see the values of having that and not just thinking, oh, I'm not going to make money right away. So
Yes.
maybe let's not do it.
Yeah, I think I agree with your point because I can feel that, why people also don't go professionally in dance form is because they don't get that exposure. Like if they learn a dance form, they can only perform in a certain program.
Exactly.
But they don't have a whole show. Just like you mentioned, if there was a program like every weekend or once in a 2 weeks or even a month, once in a month, one whole show dedicated to them, I think they would be more encouraged to be dancing.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And it would also make them feel it's okay for me to put time, effort, and work hard because I can have the chance to maybe perform there.
Yeah.
But then when there's nothing in the horizon,
There's no worth of it.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. And in movies, you used to take a lot of dances before, like traditional dances. But then the salary hasn't increased that much, in the 11 years, nearly 12 years that I've been here, where a lot of rehearsal, they don't get a lot of salary and they don't get treated very well. So that's also something that people do it at the beginning because they want exposure and they want to be like, oh, I was on a movie with this and as an actress, or I did this music video. But then when they realize that they are not able to elevate themselves, it demotivates.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah, because financial sustainability is very important. It's like they do work because they have to sustain your life.
Exactly. And even in a sense of diet. Yeah. In the dance, but also in the acting field, I've worked with some people who sometimes fainted because not enough money.
Yeah.
So not able to have breakfast or dinner. Lunch normally would be provided by the companies, but then not always breakfast or dinner because depending on what time you start the rehearsal. And they don't have enough. They are saving on rent and they wouldn't eat.
Yeah.
They will eat only the food that is provided for them in the lunchtime or in the snacks. And it's not enough because when your body demands so much physical, you need to have a good diet.
Yeah.
So they will sometimes kind of like really use their health also in a bad way, which is sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. This is the last question of today's session. That is, how can a non-professional dancer or non-dancer start the basic thing?
So there are a lot of classes. Like in Kathmandu, we're kind of lucky now. There are a lot of different schools that provides also like different training, different dance form, which I think now it's much more affordable for people also. Like I work a lot with NDA, and they are more like a community-based school. So they provide certain workshops, they provide certain regular classes, and the fee is not so high. So it's really open for anyone.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of different type of classes. The only downside would be that sometimes too many people in the class. So if the teacher cannot give correction to everybody, it's harder to improve. For me, the way that I'm teaching to also bring something different is more less people in the class and then different classes according to what people want. So I have certain classes where people just want to get some flexibility, just want to have fun. So we'll concentrate more about doing movement that it's not going to damage their health, but going to make them stronger and make them have that endorphin, like when people go to the gym, rising inside so that they feel motivated and they want to join again. Then I have other classes where people want to be more professional. So we are pushing more in the technique. And then there's also like little homework that they have to do in the week. There's really that kind of follows through so that they feel that it's not just, oh, she's giving us a lot of time in the class, but then in between classes, nothing is there. And I don't know how to improve. And then I have also some adults that used to do dance before and they just want to stay fit.
Yeah.
So we have really all the different things, and I think it's important to be able to provide that. So for me, it will be more about the quality of the class, less people.
Mm-hmm.
And then if someone is having financial issues and cannot afford the class, but is really motivated to want to take the class, then I also offer scholarships.
Oh, that's really amazing.
Yeah. So every year I try to give at least 10 scholarships, so that people that come from lower incomes, or that want to be independent, cannot really ask their parents, but then the motivation is there, then they can also apply for a scholarship.
Yeah, that's amazing that we're hearing. But thank you so much for coming and sharing so much insights. I mean, I learned so much personally myself, like about different dance forms and importance about it. We have last thing that we gotta do, that is taking an autograph.
Oh,
And a small message for our podcast. How you felt? You can add just 1 or 2 sentences. Okay.
thank you.
You can use a pen, sign page, book color, anything you want. Anything. All yours. I hope you enjoyed today.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me. I mean, when you talk about something that you love doing, and I think that's one of the reasons why I'm in Nepal also, is like, I'm not here to be a millionaire. I'm not here to make money with the art. Otherwise, I should do it definitely in my country. But I'm more here to, if I can help maybe only 2-3 people in my life to reach the dream and being able to be satisfied by finding something in arts that I can teach them, I can give them, even in a way of like uplifting their everyday life, then that is the thing that makes me happy.